Hi, I'm Angelique Ramu, and welcome to Season 3 of A Better Place. In our previous seasons, we have brought you topics on periconceptional care, prenatal care, postpartum, pediatrics, daycare centers. And in this season, we will continue to educate you and bring you topics on education and, of course, on family life. Today, we have a very special guest on the program. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Hi, and welcome back to A Better Place. As I mentioned earlier, today we have a very special guest on our program. She is an educator. Also, she is the owner of her own school and also a minister of religion. Please welcome Miss Aster Allen to A Better Place. Hi, Miss Allen, and welcome to A Better Place.
Hello, Angelique, and thank you for inviting me here. It's really a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you for having accepted the invitation for us to chat a little bit about early childhood education. But before we get into the topic of early childhood education, I would like you to share with us a little bit about who Miss Allen is.
Okay, my pleasure. I was actually born in the Caribbean, and I really consider myself a Caribbean person, even though I spent most of my life in England and parts of it in America. But whilst I was living in England, I trained as a social worker, working with children and families, and in particular working with children with severe disabilities. When I returned to the Caribbean, which is something that I'd longed to do and I really wanted to get back here, I found myself within a high school setting as a guidance counselor, but also working in the classrooms with high school students who were getting ready to, they just entered a new environment, some are getting ready to leave. That was in Antigua, and I moved to St. Martin with my husband and my son to take up a post as a pastor in French Quarter. And whilst we, in our first year, whilst we were here, I began working in local schools here in St. Martin. And so I went full-time into education. So my background is varied in the sense of it's social work, it's education, it's religion, done a lot of traveling as a missionary, teaching people how to work with children. And as you mentioned in the introduction, I do run my own school with my husband, and I'm also working as part of the Hillside School family as well. So very much into education from very early on, right up to high school level.
So of course, you have all of what it takes to work with children, because that social aspect is very important. So tell us a little bit about early childhood education and how important it is for our youngsters to start school at an early age.
Okay. When we're looking at early childhood, we're really speaking about the period from, say, age 3 to 5. And so if you think of a child at age 3, it's a period in their life when, the world is just opening up to them. They are learning rapidly now. They're developing rapidly. And they want to experiment and find out about so many things. And so at that time in their life, if they have an environment that is really conducive to learning, where they could see things and question, because at that time, their language is developing more and more. So they become more talkative, they're inquiring about what is this, what is that. They do a lot more symbolic play. You'll see them imitating things more that they see, copying. They'll be carrying out activities that you would see others. So it's really a time where they're trying to get to know their environment, copy their environment, and really get to know other young people. So it's a prime time for learning. So if you were to set up an environment where they can have things, whether it's school or at home, because some parents homeschool, So if you set up an environment where they can explore in a safe way, they can find out about things, they can test, they can experiment, they can begin to read, even if they're just picture reading. They can just begin to verbalize their newfound language and have someone take them seriously. So it's that period in their life. And the early stimulation, which is like, say, about age 3, you also have the first year of school, age 4, and then the second year of kindergarten, age 5. So early childhood is that period when they're just coming into preschool and when they're just finishing kindergarten level. So it's a time of a lot of growth, a lot of development for them, getting to know the environment, developing language, their physical bodies are developing, they're wanting to do more for themselves now, they're wanting to take care of themselves and take care of you too. So much is going on with them at that time.
Wow, so I'm glad that you were able to share what, the time span of what early childhood education is. And can you share with us how parents can help? Because you just said there's some parents who homeschool, but what about the parents who don't have the opportunity to homeschool as well? How can they assist with this early childhood education?
Okay. There was, I think about 2 years ago, I was in a vehicle with a friend of mine, and her 2-year-old daughter was also in the vehicle. And as we were driving down the road, the mother said to the little girl, she pointed to one of the traffic signs, and she said, "What shape is that?" And the child said, "It's a circle." We drove a bit further down, and we got to another traffic sign, the one where you have to yield. And she said, "What shape is that?" She said, "That's a triangle." So for me, I thought that was just so unique. It's just an ordinary, everyday activity. For the child, she's interacting with her parent. It's a time when, she can actually please her parent by pointing out something. That was a key educational moment for that child. It's reinforcing what you know, helping the mother to see what you remember, what you don't, but it's used in the everyday environment as a learning experience and as a learning tool. So that's one of the ways that parents could actually help their children. Just use normal, everyday opportunities. It doesn't have to be a set time, but if you're driving, if you're at home. The other thing that's important for a child to do, as I said, they're copying, they're imitating a lot at that age. And it's good to let them see you reading. They will copy you. They will begin to read too. As I said, the book may be upside down, wrong way, but at least they see that this is an activity that takes place, and so it's something also that I need to do. So as a parent, help the child know that reading is important. Let the child see you with a book, see you with a newspaper, and give them their own newspaper, their own book, and have that time together where we're sitting down, because even if you're sitting down and having a cup of tea or a drink, the child will also copy you. So remember, parents, that at this time, the child is really copying a lot of what they see.
It's so amazing what you said about copying, because my husband had a way of, going to the restroom with a newspaper and always reading it. And my son, he picked this up where it wasn't a newspaper, but he felt like whenever he goes in, he has to use a book.
Precisely.
And, I have some cute pictures of him at 2 years old on the toilet reading a book, and it's so amazing what you said, because indeed they do mimic us. I remember also having a friend who, she said her nephew, when he was growing up, he often would look at the signs on the road and try to always name out the letters and then to try and sound them out. And ironically enough, I saw my son doing the same thing without me having to say, well, what letter is that, or what letter is that. But so it's very ironic that you would talk about it, because sometimes they do it on their own without even the parent having to say what that is.
That's very true. I mean, even the cereal boxes that you use, the ones with the big K on it, it really helps them not just to learn about the environment, but to learn things that they would also do in the school environment as well, For those who homeschool, I think sometimes because you don't always have the social interaction, which is very important at that stage, because they're getting to make friends, they're learning how to share, how to be conscious of another person's feeling, and that type of interaction is really helpful. So when parents are homeschooling, you have to make sure you build those things into your child's daily activities. So yes, I will spend time with you, going through the manipulatives, teaching you different things. We may watch videos, we may sing songs, because singing songs at that age, at that early childhood age, is very important. They learn it, they remember it, they will sing it, and I can see you smiling, so you probably have another experience.
I have, my daughter, she's 2.
Okay.
But she has been singing from the time I think she came on earth, and it's amazing because she's only 2, and I also train the children's choir at the church.
Okay.
And I actually let her join because she's always singing, and like you said, they memorize, so she knows the songs. The only thing though, because she's 2 years and 3 months, so
Right.
the only thing is that she's still a little bit
Language.
shy. So when we go to choir practice, she would tend to stand for a little bit, and then she wants
Okay.
to retract and come and hold on to mommy and stuff like that. But she actually sang the previous third Sunday with the choir, and she stayed. So it's amazing because the age that we actually start them with, when we started the choir, was 4 years old.
Okay.
Then we started at 3, and now we have some 2-year-olds.
two-year-olds.
And I think that encouragement is what the children need, from their parents. If
Yes.
you realize they have a particular skill, encourage them and motivate them to help it to develop.
Precisely, and I know you've done like the earlier stages already, but I just wanted to point out that when, as a child is growing and developing, there's parts of the brain that if we don't give the child opportunities to learn, those synapses or those parts of the brain, they actually shut down and dissolve if
do?
they're not being used. The more you use them, the more the child will be able to take in. And so with your daughter observing that and learning that and doing that, if you continue to give her more opportunities, the more she will be able to do. So whilst there are limitations to what children can learn, but please bear in mind that at that stage there's so much that they can actually learn. So much.
No, it's true. For example, I can give another example. Today we were playing with the letters, and she knows all of her letters, and now she's
Okay.
learning the sounds. So there's the leapfrog, and it's a gadget you have to put in the
Right.
letter. When you press it, it says A says A and B says B. And it's funny because she actually already knows how to put it and get it in one time, whereas with my son, it took him at least a year before he actually would figure it out, because it's kind of like a puzzle
Okay.
and fitting the letter in properly in order for it to work. So what you're saying is really true. The earlier you start with them and the more they're exposed, the better it goes.
Yes, and when you may find when you go into an early childhood classroom, even though they cannot read at that time, there are certain things that they will be able to see on sight and recognize and remember. And for them, they're reading. And sometimes it really is because they see the word and they know what that word is, and they can actually tell you.
And you know what helps with that also? And I thought that it was just a myth. That program that they started, Baby Can Read.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, my mom bought it for my daughter, and when she would be with her, she would have her, watch it. And now there are words that she sees and she knows, and of course we'll be, she can read.
Yes.
Now I know it's by memory, but like you said, eventually it go into reading.
Yes, but remember the memory is also part of the function of the brain. So the more opportunities you give the brain to take in information, the more it will do with it, and it would open her up to just be able to receive so much more. So that's very good. Continue to do that. And I think Leapfrog is wonderful. We
Yes,
use
it
it a
is.
lot at the
I
school.
use it. I use it with my son, and just the same as her. From 2 years, he knew all of his letters. The only
Right.
difference was I focused more on the uppercase. So when he
Okay.
got into early stimulation is when he learned his lowercase. But she now knows both, both
Okay.
upper and lower. So now with her is basically not learning the sounds, so she can
Okay.
eventually start to sound out words as well.
And she's 2.
Yeah,
And
she's
so
2.
what you may find that when, depending on the school that she goes to, the early stimulation environment that she goes into, if you have a teacher who recognizes that she's able to do that, then she will be able to challenge her even more and not hold her back. So I know that we spoke about parents, what parents can do, but it's also important for our educators to recognize that children are at different levels. Some parents can give that input, and even if it's not one parent, it may be both, it may be extended family that's making a contribution. And so children don't come into school with the same background. They don't come into school at the same level. They come in with so many different experiences and abilities. And when you do go into a classroom, there may be children in the class with your daughter who did not have any of that at all. So for them, it's all new. They're just starting. What you would find, because of the age that the children are, they're willing to share, even though it may be